Hi, my name's Hank Willenbrink, and I'm the Program Director of Theater at the University of Scranton. Let me take a moment to say welcome to the University of Scranton's open house. We're glad that you're here, and we're excited to introduce you to the University of Scranton Theater Program. Um, we're going to spend a little time. I'll tell you a little bit about the theater today. You'll get to meet some alumni. The show is almost ready to go. Let's get started. This is the McDade Center for the Literary and Performing Arts, home to the University of Scranton Theater Program and the University of Scranton Players. Our program runs two theaters on campus, the Royal Theater, a 200-seat modified thrust, and the Studio Theater, a versatile black box space where we hold rehearsals, classes, and even productions. We have a theater major and a theater minor. Students don't need to audition for the major, and our classes are open to anyone enrolled at the university. Likewise, you don't have to be a major or minor or audition to be a part of the University of Scranton Players, the theater program's co-curricular organization. We routinely produce 4 shows a year, including a musical every year. The plays that we choose are a mix of classical and contemporary works, and are staffed by our artistic team, including our resident director, Michael Osteen, designer, Richard Larson, and technical director, Janice Tellier. In addition to being professors, we're all working artists, so being a part of the Players and the theater program is like being a part of a professional production where you get the individualized attention for you to attain your professional goals. Students are at the heart of what we do on stage and off. Your voices are represented through the Players Council, a group of faculty, students, and staff that help staff shows and guide decisions for the players. In our productions, we put into practice what we do in the classroom, asking you to apply and develop the skills and techniques you're developing before a live audience. Some of our past productions have included Carrie the Musical, Men on Boats, Antigone, The Porches Project, a series of original plays written by University of Scranton students with members of the Scranton community, Bright Star, The Beyoncé, and The Laramie Project. A distinctive feature of our program is our use of guest artists. We regularly bring in 10 to 12 working professional directors, designers, and musical directors to help round out our artistic staff. These are working professionals who come from their positions on Broadway and in other major regional theaters to work with our program and students. It's like having an internship for every show, and when you get to work with our immensely talented team from faculty and staff to guest artists. Now, let's take a moment and talk to some alumni. Hi, I'm here with, hi. I'm here with 3 of our illustrious alumni. And the first thing I'm going to do is ask them to the first thing I'm going to ask them to do is to introduce themselves. So Megan, why don't you start?
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I graduated in 2017.
Great, and what was your major, Megan?
Oh, I was a double major in theater and communications.
Fantastic, thanks. Latrice?
So I'm Latrice. I am originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I also graduated in 2017, and my major was also theater and strategic communications.
Thanks, Latrice. Dan?
I am Daniel Morrow. I'm from Long Valley, New Jersey. And get this, I graduated in 2017. I majored in both English and theater.
It's almost like I planned this. Thanks for taking some time to talk with us. So, first off, can you tell us all like what you've been doing in theater? Obviously, things are a little different now, so maybe the last thing that you did, but what's your you're all, I know, working in theater or theater adjacent places. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And Megan, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, so I moved out to New York a year after graduation, and ever since then I've been freelancing as a wardrobe supervisor and as a dresser for like smaller scale productions. And I'm working on getting my stuff together to join the wardrobe union. That's my next goal.
What was the last play that you worked on in the last theater that you were at?
The last play I worked on was Round Table. It was in October of last year, and it was at 59 East 59 Theaters.
Oh, that's a really well-known theater. That's great.
That's great.
Latrice, how about you?
So currently I am an assistant producer at the Vineyard Theater in New York City. And right now, due to COVID, we're working on a bunch of online content, which is really exciting because it gives us a chance to like work with actors and directors and designers that are like all over the world and not just in New York City. So yeah, it's been really an interesting year working for the Vineyard, and like half working online and then half working in person before Corona.
Latrice, have you had a moment that's a like, oh my God, I get to work with this person moment?
Oh my God, I've had a few.
Okay, tell us about your last one.
Oh my God, Bill Irwin. He's a wonderful clown
performer. He was in Rachel Getting Married, playing probably like the most kind of down the line character he's ever played, but really amazing performer. Wow, you worked with Bill Irwin on what? Can I ask on what?
So it's actually happening like right now. It's called the Busking Project. And I can't really say too much about it, but he's doing some of that street performance that he got his roots doing. And it's kind of like a 10-minute performance that's really cool. So the Vineyard has been like working with him. So, and he's working on also one of our online projects that's about to come out. So yeah, he's just as funny as he is in anything that you've seen him in. And just like, it's to pull the curtain back is like nice, and he's like actually, a nice human being. So
that's great. One of the things that I always say about the best part about studying in the arts is that even if you don't like kind of like make it in some way, you get to know people who do, which is a lot of fun. You can say, I know that person, which is great. Dan, can you tell us about what was the last thing that you were doing in theater?
Yeah, the last thing I was doing was I was the lead in a therapy session with myself, which was an off-Broadway play at the Crane Theater. And then as of late, still figuring out what to do acting-wise, but I've been submitting a play that I wrote to a few places with the help of Hank.
Thank you. Yeah, Dan and I have been exchanging emails. And that's another great, I think I know I can speak to all three of you that you all have been kind of returners to the McDade. Mm-hmm. And people that have definitely picked the brains of at least myself or Michael or Rich or Janice. And that's always a great thing. So let's go back to the university players. Tell us about how you kind of got your start. What was the first thing that you remember working on? Megan, we'll keep going in line.
The first show I worked on was A Year with Frog and Toad. I was actually a senior in high school. I knew Rich and Janice I did ballet. I took ballet classes, and they were working on the shows that I performed in. And I think Rich heard from my mom through the grapevine that I wanted to work in theater. So one day he called, and they needed a spotlight operator, and I said yes, and it literally changed the course of my life. And it was like the best experience.
That's great. What about you, Latrice?
So I have the same story, I feel like, as so many people that like go into theater. You start doing theater when you're a kid, and then you get to college and you kind of want to keep doing the same thing. So I applied to be in the arts dorm, and I got accepted into the arts dorm, which really just meant I got to be in a class with Hank, which was really awesome. But my whole entire like freshman dorm decided to try out for the show that was happening that fall, and I happened to get cast. And then the rest is history, and I spent the rest of my 4 years in the McDade Center.
That's great. Dan.
Yeah, I hadn't had any theater experience before, and it wasn't until my sophomore year that I wanted to focus more on writing. So I took a playwriting class with Hank, and he had told everyone in the class, oh, we have a show, The Pillow Man, everyone should audition. I auditioned, I got a very small part, and then I just kept coming back and kept doing the shows and kept getting more and more involved and just kind of snowballing from there.
That's great. So tell us about like one of your favorite memories from being involved with the Players. It could be something that's a moment that you were on stage, a moment that you were off stage, maybe a moment in the classroom. What was just one of your kind of favorite memories from being at the university? Megan, back to you.
One of my favorite memories, I think, was working on Baltimore Waltz. I worked as a dresser. Again, that changed a lot of like the course of my life because now I'm in wardrobe. But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and it challenged me, and I learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun to do all those quick changes, and every 2 minutes you had to be on. I know I think about that a lot, where it was a lot of fun.
That's great. Latrice.
I had a hard time thinking about this one, but I feel like all of my favorite memories happen during like tech weeks, and just like being in the theater so late. And I feel like the magic always happened during those like late nights in the theater, even like that we were like frustrated and like wanted to go home. I feel like all of those times, like bonding with my fellow theater students and just the whole program, like in hindsight is something I would never want to give up, those memories.
That's great. Dan.
Yeah, I think to go off that, it is hard to pick a specific one, but to get, I guess, to narrow in a bit, is just like anytime, like when I would be on stage doing something, and then when I would walk off into the wings and I would be a bit in my own head of like, okay, like this is going well, I gotta meet this, I gotta do that. And when I would go into the wings, I would just see the crew having just a great time and doing their own little bits that they do when the show is going on, like dancing to specific music cues or interacting with the props in their own way. And just remembering it is like everyone is, getting their own things out of it, and that is a community effort.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think the three of you really epitomize is that, we try to kind of instill this idea of being a part of a company, right? And being a part of a kind of collective when you're in a show. That it's not the kind of on stage, I'm on stage, you're not kind of thing, but instead that everybody's there for this kind of unified purpose. And it's wonderful to hear you say that, because I think it kind of, all these really speak to that kind of ethos that we try to put in. All right, last one. What's something that you learned with us that you still use in your everyday life? This could be, I guess, in your real everyday life, or like your work everyday life, or your like personal everyday life, however you want to take it.
I always get, no matter what job I have, if it's like being a hostess, in a restaurant, or like, working again in like theater, I always get complimented on how I think quickly and I can work under pressure. And that has helped me in every single job I've had, no matter what it is. And I definitely attribute that to what I learned in the theater program, like at the U. Like you have to be ready to think, and you have to be ready to act. And I think that makes me a stronger worker, just and all around, like in those jobs.
That's great. Latrice.
Along those lines, similarly to Megan, I feel like solution-based problem solving, and like not worrying about like who like did the mistake or what's going to happen. It's like, okay, now we need to like move along, fix the problem, and like creatively thinking about how to fix that problem. And just like Megan said, with any job that I've ever had, I was working at a museum for a few years, like those skills they just come in handy, and being able to like really problem solve and think out of the box, on your toes, it's a skill that comes in handy not only with work, but like in your own like interpersonal relationships as well.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go to the next cue, right? Sometimes you got to do it. That's great. Dan.
I actually had a moment today where I was cleaning up at work and I realized how good my mopping technique is from mopping the stage. And that's come in handy with a lot of jobs. But also I was going to say the playing a part in like getting to do all the different crew positions and getting an appreciation for that, and like how it all kind of informs one another and just gives you a greater appreciation, because with all of the other actors that I've worked with out in the real world, it is very easy to tell which ones are only actors and have only ever been actors, just from how they treat other people, how they hold themselves, how they talk to people.
That's wonderful. Thank you all for doing this. Like I said, I think at the beginning, you're all really exemplary alumni and I think amazing ambassadors of the program. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and to all the prospective students as well. So thank you. I hope that this video has been informative for you. Please take a moment to come say hi at the open house. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, hank.willenbrink@scranton.edu. We'll see you in the Royal. Bye.